Hello, sixth graders, welcome back. Today we're going to do reading. We're going to do a chronicle reading. We're going to have a reading book and we're going to take a good view at the Great Trek, the reading that is included there. So, let's start. You will go to page 95, the Great Trek. Normally I will ask you guys to start reading and I will assign some parts, some paragraphs so you can start reading. Today I'm going to do it. We already did this in class, so it's going to be my pleasure to be reading for you. But we can also use sometimes the tracks that we have included for this kind of text. However, we're going to read it so we can practice. Please try to read at the same time that I am doing it. We can use the same pace, we can use the same tone, but try to pronounce the words. Listen to me if you think that some words you don't know how to pronounce them. Please listen to me so you can repeat them or you can say them, okay? So let's start. The title, The Great Trek. Nearly 200 years ago, a group of miners and engineers from a small corner of England set off on a journey. They were brave, hard-working adventurers interested in progress. This is their story. Always take your time to look at the pictures so you can check the kind of costume they use, the clothing. Look, he's smoking in a pipe, a long beard, the tools they had, like this hammer, probably Gillette's hammer, and so on. Take a look at the map. Can you recognize this word? Lugar de ranas, Guanajuato. That probably is Nahuatl. Okay, so we have here this person, and he's pointing at this site in Guanajuato. It says here, let's read it together. Ready? Here we go. At the end of the 18th century, Mexico was famous as the world's largest producer of silver. Silver. Not as worthy as gold, but still a good product. Silver. Okay. Plata. Let's continue. In 1799, the explorer Alexander von Humboldt visited the Mina Valenciana in Guanajuato. It was 1,640 feet deep, and Humboldt declared it as one of the greatest in the world. This and other mines brought great riches to many European economies. So probably this man is Alexander von Humboldt. Probably he is. Let me tell you something. I encourage you to find information about things you read. For example, Mina La Valenciana. This mine is still in Guanajuato. Now they don't produce silver as it used to do, but it's a touristic place. You take one of the buses there in Guanajuato, and they will take you to this place. And then you can go and do some of the touring. It's on the top of a hill, and also you can go down inside of it. You can take the tour and do that, and that will be a great experience for you. But let's go back to the book, okay? However, the War of Independence from 1810 to 1821 left many of these mines in ruins. At the end of the war, the Mexican government decided to invite foreign mining companies to help rebuild the industry. At the same time, many British companies were looking to export the latest technology from the Industrial Revolution. When you're reading, try to find those words that sound pretty much or are written pretty much like they are in Spanish, so you can understand, you can catch the meaning of the sentences. This is going to be really helpful for you. So in this case, we have these two words, in ruins. What does that mean? It means everything was destroyed, en ruinas. Go to the next page. John Taylor An English mining engineer had read about Humboldt's experience. He persuaded a group of London financiers to help reopen the mines of Real del Monte in Hidalgo. They spoke to the mine's owner, Romero de Terreros, in London in 1824. Together they formed the British Real del Monte Company. 1824, and we have here the characters, the people that were involved, handshaking. In the next page we can see something. The town, the village is in ruins as well. And here are the engineers and workers of the mine. Let's read together. 1, 2, 3. Reading. A group of technicians left England for Real del Monte on March 25th, 1824. They arrived on June 10th. What they saw was a village in ruins. The walls of the houses were crumbling and the roofs were falling in. The mines were not working and the community was poor. In this case we have some clues or cues. We have some words to understand better or reading. In this case, crumble, to fall apart, desmoronarse. We also have the word or the sentence saying falling in, cayéndose. So we need to get knowledge from that and convey the meaning of these things. Okay, let's continue. Page 101. The British Real del Monte Company immediately made plans to move heavy machinery from England to Mexico. The men and equipment they needed were in a place called Cornwall, over 5,000 miles away. In the spring of 1825, 4 ships set sail from England with 100 Cornish miners and 1,500 tons of equipment on board. I made a pause here because I was a little bit confused with this, I have to admit. So, numbers, big numbers, 5,000 miles. Remember, this is a big number, but because it's a year, es un año, it's a date, you say 2 and 2, 1825. Okay, this, because they are quantities, you can say it like in thousands, 5,000. This one here, 1,500, 1,500. I think I'm going to do a video on this in a few minutes, probably, in a few days, I'm not sure anymore. But the important part here is for you to understand numbers and to try to tell them. This is a world map of 1820. It's the same map, different borders, different frontiers, but it's the same old country. Now, let's go to the next page, to page 102. Here we are. We can see the boat, the first ship that arrived. Okay, let's start reading that. The first ship, the Melpom, arrived in Veracruz on May 28, 1825. The men landed their machinery on the open beach. They then started a 300-mile trek through the jungle and into the mountains. The technicians in Mexico had arranged for mules and men to help with transportation. And here, of course, we have the mules. This is an animal, a 4-legged animal. It's interesting because this is a cross between a horse and a donkey. That is a mule. They are very strong. Okay. Patada de mula. Have you ever heard that expression? That means that it's a really hard kick. Okay. Here we can see them walking under the rain. And let's look at this guy. He's sleeping or he's dead. I'm not sure. Let's read that, okay? It says this. The first part of the journey was a disaster. Many men, both Mexican and English, contracted yellow fever. Over 100 Mexican workers, half of the Cornish miners, and a third of the officers died. died. No, fellas, this guy here is not sleeping. Well, he's actually in the big eternal sleep. He's dead. Okay, let's continue. At the end of August, the surviving men abandoned their machinery and recovered in the healthier climate of Jalapa. Really hard time for these people. Really hard times. Page 104, 104. Look what is happening here. Okay. Things are falling. The survivors waited until the end of the rainy seasons to continue their journey. The roads were in bad condition, and there were many accidents. There were 120 men and 550 mules in the party. They had to complete each part of the journey several times to move all the machinery. Be careful with the meaning of some words. Sometimes we understand this as a party, a fiesta, but in this case means grupo, in the party, in the group. In the next page we can see a wagon that is stuck in the mud. Let's read what happened here. After a steep 6-month climb into the mountains, the rainy season started again. It was much earlier than usual, and heavy storms made the road difficult. The wagons got stuck. The mud 2 or 3 times a day in that place, and the men struggled to set them free. Nearly 1 year after arriving in Veracruz, the miners, workers, and mules finally marched into Real del Monte. It was May 1st, 1826. After so many difficulties, they had brought the Industrial Revolution to Latin America. Many of the miners made the district their new home. They are arriving with the new machinery, new then. This happened almost 300 years ago. Casi 300 años hace de esto. Let's continue the reading. The culture and traditions of the area began to change. It was Cornish miners who played the first soccer game in Mexico, in Pachuca in 1900. Pastes, or meat pies, famous all over Hidalgo, are originally from Cornwall. Pachuca also has an English cemetery, and the town clock has the same chime as the London's Big Ben. All thanks to the great trek. End of the story. Now it's time to work and answer these questions. Why were the mines in ruins in 1821? You can go to page 98 to find the answer. The War of Independence. So we're going to answer that. Answer, because the War of Independence. When you say why, the answer should begin with the word because. Cuando tú preguntas por qué, why, siempre debe de ir esta frase primero, esta palabra, because, que también significa por qué o debido a. Number 2. When did the first group of technicians leave England? Answer, page 100. A group of technicians left England for Real del Monte on March 25th, 1824. Here's the answer. Okay, what 3 things made the great trek difficult? Well, after reading that, I can say that it was the weather, climate, el clima, illness, enfermedades, and road conditions, y condiciones del camino. Let's do the next one. Number 4. What was the first soccer game? Where was the first soccer game played in Mexico? We soccer fans know the answer for that. Here it is on page number 107. In Pachuca, Hidalgo. Now let's do the next exercise. In the left we have adjectives, and the right we have nouns, adjetivos, sustantivos. And we're going to match them. Brave, valiente. We can say brave mountain. Una montaña valiente. That is not correct. So let's do one by one, okay? Brave. Brave adventurer. Number 2. Deep. Deep mine. Profunda mina. Number 3. Steep mountain. Montaña empinada. Number 4. Heavy. Heavy rain. And finally, number 5. Rainy season. Okay. Sorry for the numbers. This is much better. Okay. The last part, the C part, is discussion. That's what you're going to do by yourself. Okay. Bye bye, kids. See you next class.